Did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some type of shit.
You're watching the exact moment Sophie Cunningham blew up a decades-old playbook that's been quietly controlling WNBA narratives. What started as a casual podcast chat about Dana Bonner's messy departure has snowballed into something much bigger. And the old-school media gatekeepers are losing their minds. Here's what they'd rather you not notice. Sophie just proved that WNBA players like her, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana Fever don't need ESPN, The Athletic, or any of the league's long-protected media darlings to control their own stories. She sidestepped every outdated channel, went straight to the fans, and racked up more real engagement than most established sports reporters can dream of in a year. For an industry built on acting as the middleman between athletes and the public, that's not just unsettling, it's existential. Show your support for Sophie by dropping a spicy Sophie in the comments. Let's go.
I like DB. Because like DB was one of my bets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like she's a Hall of Famer, she's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
Before we unpack how Sophie accidentally exposed the cracks in the WNBA's media machine, go ahead and picture what the league would look like if players controlled their own narratives. No biased filtering, no anti-Clark spin. No agendas designed to pit teammates against each other. What Sophie just did goes far beyond the Bonner drama. We are watching the start of a new era, one that could completely upend who gets to decide the story in women's basketball.
I just think, and you know way better than me,
yeah.
But like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is like, not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
For years, the legacy sports media built walls around WNBA coverage, deciding which players got airtime and which stories fit the brand. Sophie just showed that those walls aren't stone, they're wet tissue paper. Let's break down how one unfiltered podcast episode revealed just how weak the system really is, and why every major sports outlet is now scrambling to lock down player partnerships before they lose the narrative altogether. The warning sign was in the numbers. Sophie's following has quietly surged past 1.6 million on TikTok and 1.1 million on Instagram. Bigger than the combined reach of many of the WNBA's so-called insider reporters. She built that empire while ESPN was busy pretending Caitlin Clark's record-breaking nights weren't newsworthy.
I went from I think like
followers, yeah,
350,000 and like maybe 200,000 on TikTok.
You had 200,000 on TikTok a month ago?
No, I
before the fight.
Before the fight, and then I had like 350 on 100,000 on Instagram. Over the night, or over like a day and a half, over 1 million on both. Insane. This is coming from me though, dude. I got tired of seeing myself.
I get it.
And I love myself.
Oh, I get it.
I love myself. I was over it.
And here's the part that flips the whole game on its head. Sophie didn't get there by kissing the ring of the old guard. She got there by speaking the language actual fans understand, unapologetic, competitive, and real. While some players worked overtime to make sure the media kept them in a safe, polished bubble, Sophie went direct to the people, giving them something they weren't getting from ESPN's safe for broadcast sound bites, authenticity. That's the exact moment the power shifted. Sophie didn't whisper her intel to a reporter. She didn't gift trap it for The Athletic. She didn't even tease it on Twitter first. She sat down with her Show Me Something co-host and dropped a truth bomb that flipped the Bonner controversy on its head. No editors, no spin, no corporate PR script, just raw, unfiltered truth for anyone who wanted to hear it. In the old days, if a player had the inside scoop on locker room chaos or shady exits, it would trickle to a beat reporter, get massaged into a carefully sourced piece, and be spoon-fed to the audience on the media's terms. Timing? Controlled. Framing? Controlled. Impact? Controlled.
But she got to Indiana and she just like really wasn't happy. And like I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of like neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career, so like she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're gonna leave, like you're gonna have to expect getting booed. Like,
Was there explanation when it happened? No. Not even privately? Yeah, I mean,
that's one
okay.
thing.
That's tough. And, yeah, okay. Well, I did say what? Unless you leave on some you type shit, and that's what that is, so.
Yeah.
Sophie looked at that and said, yeah, no. She told it herself, and she told it better than any outsider could, because she was there living it. She had the first-hand credibility, the context, and the platform to drop it without asking anyone for permission. A level of freedom the establishment media doesn't want Caitlin Clark or any Fever player to have.
Like I'm still rooting for her. Like I want her to end her career and be happy. But I also think that like it's okay to be professional about it and like send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to handle that, I think.
And here's the strategic bombshell everyone else missed. Sophie's podcast isn't just her in a garage with a microphone. It's distributed by Colin Cowherd's sports media empire, The Volume. That's the first major crossover between a WNBA player's content and mainstream sports media muscle. They didn't bring her on out of charity or as some token gesture to support women's sports. They signed her because they saw what ESPN couldn't: real, player-driven storytelling crushes sterile, politically safe coverage every single time. That deal alone sends a loud message: WNBA stars don't need to stay tucked away in the women's sports corner anymore. They can step straight into the mainstream sports arena and connect with a bigger, hungrier audience, one that's far less interested in protecting the old hierarchy and far more interested in hearing the truth. Sophie's success is going to make other players realize they don't need the middleman. And that's exactly why the traditional media guard is starting to sweat. Reports are already coming in that big sports networks are suddenly racing to sign WNBA players to their own shows. Why? Because Sophie just proved there's a massive market for unfiltered player content, and fans will pick it over ESPN's corporate-approved narratives every single time.
There's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb.
One of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitland.
Kirtland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say? Okay.
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport,
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her. You have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her Cece. Cece. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But
Right.
there's just more. So it's her second year, and like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like actually, it's just too much, and
Yeah.
like it's just I'm over. And if I'm saying it's too much, like
Yeah.
I'm not saying that your job is easy. But when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What call are you like bugged out?
All of them.
Most everything.
Like, it's just like they're just so inconsistent. Like, that's my thing. Like, if you're on the other team and you're going to be finding the shit out of me,
yeah.
cool. But let me do it to
Didn't
you.
let you, yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
want
Like,
consistency then.
yeah, like just give. And I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do shit. And there's a couple girls in there
Dumb
too.
question. Like, if someone were to like say someone called men's basketball their whole life and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently? Just given like the style and like physicality and stuff like that?
The thing that I have the biggest issue about the female sides of refs is like they're so emotional. Like the guys, no, the NBA officials, like the NBA players fuck those officials like no.
Oh
other.
yeah.
Like I've worked broadcast, I've been to games, I'm friends with these people. They fuck them.
Yeah.
And the only person that I've ever seen able to like mother a ref on the women's side is Diana Taurasi.
And they like take it.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, they have
and
to.
like, but when she's probably one of the worst people that I've seen go after refs. Now, like the refs, and I'm not saying they're emotional. Like the men and women, it doesn't matter the gender.
Yeah.
On our side, they are too emotionally invested and they can't take it. And I'm like,
is it new to the WNBA that you guys are like maybe talking more shit back to refs, or has that been a thing forever?
oh, it's always been a thing.